War II, BT-13 low-tech vibrator, I used to call them. I was now going to go to Bainbridge, Georgia to fly them. Little did I know that after a meeting with this officer, I was coming out of the room in a line with all the cadets, put his hand in front of me and he said, "You, D'Ambrosia," he says, "when you get to Bainbridge, I got a brother up there, gonna look you up, I'm gonna bust you out." I didn't have a chance to say, what did I do? All I did was, when he was talking about a maneuver, I put my hand up and I said, "Yes, I know." I said, "I know a person who died from that maneuver." I thought I was complimenting him that he was telling us how not to make a maneuver that would kill you. So when he said that, I couldn't get a chance to talk to him.
What are you doing?
Because of the line. I had to move.
What are you doing?
And
Lay
out.
down. Lay down.
But I remembered his name to be Gardner.
Gardner?
Gardner.
What's his first name?
I didn't know his first name. But I knew he was a captain.
Captain Gardner.
Captain Gardner. So when I got to Bainbridge,
What year was this?
beginning around beginning of 1945.
45, and where was it at?
Huh?
Where were you? Which base were you on?
I was on Bainbridge Air Force Base.
Bainbridge Air Force Base.
Yeah,
Captain Gardner.
That was. But listen to this. All I knew is that somebody was going to look me up. When he said my brother.
His brother.
He didn't say I got a friend. But when he said, "I got a brother there that's going to look you up and he's going to bust you out." So I didn't know what to think when I got there. What should I do? What should I do? But as the week went by, I started to notice that these officers were starting to pick on me. And I said, uh-oh. I said, that Gardner's doing something to me. I never knew who he was. He never told me his name. I never met him before. All I know, these officers were on me. And all I could think of was they're on there doing the things that Captain at Bainbridge AF Base got already doing to me. 5 weeks went by, and I knew I was supposed to be all ready for night flying, but they wouldn't let me fly at night. And I said to myself, how much more can it go of what these people are doing to me, these 4 or 5 officers? I used to do all these offenses that they said I did, and blah, blah, this. And they used to pick on me like they never, when they made it to me, but they didn't do to others. So one day I got a letter that said, you got to report to the commanding officer, you're being discharged. So when I went before Colonel Gillette, he gave me all the reasons that I was behind schedule and this and this and that. He said that I was to be eliminated from the Corps of Cadets. When he got done, he said, "Do you have anything to say?" And I said, "Yes, I do, sir." He said, "What is it?" I said, I knew that I would be before you here today, even before I made my first step on Bainbridge, Georgia. He says, "What'd you say?" I says, I knew I was going to be before you before I even put my foot on Bainbridge Air Force Base. He says, "Hey, Jim." He says, "How's that? Why are you saying that to me?" I said, "Well," I said, "I didn't know what to think of doing when I got here, but I just let the course take itself that brings me here in front of you today." He says, "Well, who is it?" I said, "Well, if you know, and your organization here, if you have a brother named Gardner, I don't know his rank, I don't know his first name, all I know his brother is a captain at Avon Park, and he's a check pilot. He said to me, when you get to Bainbridge, my brother's going to look you up and have you busted." I said, "Here I am." He could not believe what he heard. He says, "I'll look into this." Goodbye. Go away. 2 days later, I go before the advisory board. And the advisory board comes to me and they said, "Cadet D'Ambrosia," he said, "Colonel Gillette has changed his mind that you are not to be eliminated from the Corps of Cadets." Oh, I said, "Fine." I thought I had it. He said, "But we have to, so you're so far behind on your schedule of 44J, that was my class number, 44J. He said, "We can't let you go back to 44J. We have to transfer you to the artillery where you could get your commission and you fly the planes with the artillery." I said, "Well, I know how to fly those airplanes." I was referring to Piper Cubs and Taylor Crafts and everything of Paoli and Mayline Airport. I said, "You mean to tell me that I have to leave the Army Air Corps, which is now the U.S. Air Force," which that's what it used to be, it used to Army Air Corps. Then we changed the name and dropped the Army and made it USAP. I said, "You mean to tell me I got to leave here and go to the artillery?" He said, "Yeah." I said, "Well, let me think about that." So 2 days went by, I go before him again and I said, "I have come to the conclusion of what you're offering me, that I have to leave here to fly those small planes." I said, "When I became a cadet, I decided in my mind that I was not going to be a bomber pilot. I was not going to be a cargo pilot. I wasn't going to be a passenger pilot. I said, I came here to be one thing. Came here to be a fighter pilot." And I says, "and to be a fighter pilot," I says, "I came here and I want to fly the P-51 Mustang." It's on the television. I says, "I came here to fly that airplane and be a fighter pilot. I could fly high and fast. I didn't come here to become a small plane pilot to fly low and slow, looking for the enemy." I says, "Now, if you can't let me continue on with 44J because I'm too far behind in schedule," I said, "why don't you put me in 44K? I said, "I don't mind going to the next class, starting over." I said, "I'll be ahead of everybody. And this way, I'll be getting to the basic trainers that I left. I already know all about it because that's when I left it. When I left the air base that I came here from in Florida, the BT-13. I says, if you can't transfer me, let me do that. give me a later class. He said, we can't do that. I said, well, you say that I can't go back to 44J? He says, no. He said, you have to accept what we offered you. I said, I refuse to do any more flying for the United States Air Force. If I can't fly the Mustang, goodbye.